Hi, this is Kendra.
This is Olivia.
And Josh.
And this is Our Music Oddcast. Today we have a special guest, Elizabeth Helms. Say hi.
Hey.
And we will be talking about the occult. Aleister, there's been much debate. Crowley, like blah, blah, all the things, and rock and roll. So take it away.
First, Liz, why don't you tell us about your history with bands and music and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm in a band at the moment for years now with Kendra here.
Yep.
The Snarks provide the theme music. So I guess this isn't even my first time on a podcast, technically. Since it's my
You're
double
on
guitar,
every
so,
podcast.
Yeah. She's the one.
Is that you playing the guitar part?
Yeah.
Or is it Zach? Because there's like a rhythm
two-
guitar and then there's a...
The two lead guitars are me.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, the solos. Yeah. Brian Maystow. And I was in Thunderhawk for the longest time with
Yeah.
Josh here.
Most
yeah.
importantly, Thunderhawk.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
And then you were in End Time Spasm.
I was in the End Time Spasm band, until recently Boat Show.
Okay.
Shithouse Boys.
Yeah,
Wait,
the
you're
list
not in
goes
Boat Show
on and
anymore?
on. That'll have already stopped by the time this comes out.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what happens when you play the same set for 5 years.
Yeah.
So eventually,
Thunderhawk did that for 10.
But she wasn't in it for 10 years.
it depends on how you count at this.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. Retracted statement.
Edward Alexander Crowley was born on October 12th, 1875 in Warwickshire. His parents were strict Plymouth Brethren, and they believed the literal truth of scriptures and then no priestly authority, and they definitely believed in the second coming of Christ. So his dad, from an early age, was really, really, really obsessed with death and Jesus coming back. And they were really strict. They didn't celebrate Christmas, or they didn't let him have toys. The only book that he was allowed to read was the Bible growing up, and he was super smart.
That would turn anyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mental.
Like, nope.
Yeah, and
Hard pass.
he even got in trouble in school because he started pointing out the inconsistencies in the Bible because he knew it, front to back. His dad at one point made him write down every time the word "but" was in the Bible.
I feel like did you all, like, if anybody else was like raised religiously, did you all have to like memorize certain scripture and stuff like that?
You'd have to memorize prayers, and then I guess like what to do, because I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, for the Catholic Church, there's a few main prayers that you recite in each Mass that pretty much every Catholic person would know.
And you'd have
makes
to have the
sense.
right response when like the priest would say something. Because I remember, being little and.
But I don't recall having to like memorize scripture passages.
I think there was like occasionally something, but it wasn't like anybody would quiz you on it years later.
Yeah.
Like I was Protestant, like non-denominational growing up.
I was Methodist. It was funny though, because like we would just like have fun looking up. I know, so fun, right? Anyway, but we'd look up like just like ridiculous Bible quotes. Mm-hmm. So I remember, I know it's like in Ephesians or something, but it's like if a man and another man are fighting, and the wife of one man grabs her husband's assailant by the genitals, you shall cut off her hands and show her no mercy. I'm like literally not making that up. That's a
Hardcore.
fucking Bible verse.
That's pretty hard.
He was really sickly when he was young, and he stayed home a lot from school, and he eventually stopped going to school and had tutors. They thought that he had an illness. It was something kind of like
Kidney disease. Was it diabetes?
Yeah, something similar to that, because they thought that his kidneys would fail because of an extra protein. They said it was similar to diabetes, and so he stayed home, and he traveled a lot and had tutors, and actually one of his tutors took him to a prostitute at the age of 15.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
He was exposed to a lot early, I would say.
He was. It's funny because he was exposed to a lot, but then he also had like such a strict upbringing, and even at school.
So do you think that's why one of his tutors brought him to a prostitute? Because he was just like,
well, that or maybe because they thought he was going to die young.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, maybe get this over with, and so you're not going to live long.
Was that one of his tutors, or was that his uncle? Because like he spent like a year with his uncle at some point.
I think his uncle was
just,
really
like,
strict
knew rules.
religious too, because he hated him. He really didn't like his mother or his uncle. His mom called him the Beast, and his dad died when he was 11. I didn't talk about that. Before that, he owned a brewery for a while, and then sold those shares and made them like a ton of money. So he had a huge inheritance that I think he got when he was 21.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
A
Interesting.
brewery, that's cool.
Yeah.
Crowley's
Like, so-
Growlers. Get your.
It was actually, I think it was
Your picture.
it was called like Crowley something ale house, or
I'm saying Crowley because
you can.
Ozzy Osbourne said Crowley, so that's basically what I base everything on.
The most literate man in the world.
Yes.
Yes.
And I like to say Crawley just because it makes me think of Good Omens, the novel by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett.
It was Crowley's Alts and Ales. That's what it was called.
Oh, Alts and Ales.
Alts
and ales.
and ales.
Yeah.
That's kind of hip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
You could probably get that T-shirt.
Yeah, I'm sure it's around.
The internet.
Yeah.
Internet's got it.
Do they though? If they don't, and you're an entrepreneur out there, I would fucking buy that shit. Do
For sure.
Do it.
It's going to be in Target before the end of
I
the year.
know. So while he was traveling, he studied the occult, religions, mysticism. He joined the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and was trained in ceremonial magic. And Samuel Mathers and I'm trying to remember that guy's name. I don't think I wrote it down. Oh, Alan Bennett were both members, and they were also master Freemasons.
That ties into so many conspiracies right there.
Yeah. They took a lot of drugs, opium, morphine, cocaine, hash, and they summoned demons, but it wasn't to, like use these demons for evil purposes. It's actually kind of like
Friends. We're going to bring a friend to the party.
well, no, it was like you'd summon the demon so then it couldn't possess you and couldn't use you, the way that for evil. But I don't think it was completely for like.
Would an evil demon possess an evil person anyway?
I don't
feel
know.
like that's not how it works.
I don't know. I mean, you have to wonder. Like, thinking about all the demon possession movies. Mm-hmm. Like, there's so many. I mean, like, obviously a lot of them are far-fetched. But, like, I know, like, the whole Emily Rose thing. Like, that was a pretty well-documented.
Yeah.
And my
Right.
fucking
Based on
favorite is the one that happened in it. We're all from Indiana. And there's one that happened not too far away from here in Gary.
Oh, yeah.
And LaToya Ammons or whatever, or Ammons. Yeah,
I don't remember her name,
it
but I
is
remember
the
reading the story.
most documented case of demonic possession in recent history.
The kid was like crawling on the ceiling. Or
The
walking
kid walked on the
and-
ceiling at the fucking hospital in front of several witnesses. Police officers were straight up like getting, like they were posted watching guard and stuff like that over their cars, and still like their brake lines were cut. And the diocese declared the house a portal to hell. Like,
the crazy thing is
they
this-
literally tore the fucking house down
That's all we can
because
do.
people
Yeah.
were trying to break in and they were getting hurt.
I remember
Yeah.
back when the story first came out, they were selling the house and people were
The
like
dude
fighting
from
over
Ghost Hunters bought it. Like
Was-
the douchey one. Like the one
Zach
that,
Baggins.
I don't know who that is, but the one that
Okay.
the Affliction bra.
I think
Dude.
that's who that is.
The guy that owns that
He's like
Affliction
muscly.
brand? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That guy has a pretty cool museum in Vegas, I heard.
I just hate his t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really give a shit about him.
I don't care
Like,
what he's doing.
I just know who wears his shirts, and I
He's-
just don't approve.
He also gets like pretty aggressive
Okay.
with the ghost, doesn't he? Which you're not supposed to do, I guess. I'm not sure.
I've never really, I haven't had cable in my adult life, so I've never really seen the show. I just learned that a guy that like is a douchebag to ghosts has a shitty t-shirt company, and so I hate him on principle. He's probably like
That's good enough reason for
he's
me.
probably like the nicest guy, but I feel like that's like my back out for everything. It's like everybody knows I hate Pearl Jam, but they're all probably like such nice guys.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Affliction clothing.
I don't know why it offends me.
Yeah.
It doesn't even offend me. I'm just like,
I got
Like,
this.
I'm just judging the shit out of it.
That's
I'm an
fine.
asshole.
I got this Omaze notification recently about it was something to do with Pearl Jam, and I was going to send it to you, but but I thought that'd be mean.
Don't
because you
get her
don't-
started.
Yeah.
So
I
with
was-
that,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to bring it back to the Golden Dawn.
Yeah, you should probably do that
Yeah.
because I was just going to talk about talking shit about Pearl Jam with Lindsay.
So like for them, it would have been like based on the Kabbalah, like the Jewish Kabbalah, which
Yes.
is like where they're getting most of their magic. So like they would have been summoning angels, like to command them, and like it was also
Okay.
like a self-improvement sort of thing, like you were trying to ascend,
Yeah.
like in almost a Buddhist or Hinduist kind of way.
That's
like
what
into
Crowley
enlightenment.
kept talking about. I've ascended
Yeah.
past the gods or something.
Yeah. But he had, I'm trying to remember the name of the book, the Goetia or something like that. He wanted to do all these spells to summon demons, and they didn't allow that, like at the Golden Dawn. So it's part of like beginning of him getting kicked out.
Yeah.
Start my own
Moving
religion.
away. He moved to his house at Loch Ness. It has a name, and I'll come across it at some point. And there he had like sex, drug parties, and they consumed all sorts of bodily fluids
Okay.
in that time.
I'm going to pause on that.
And reflect. Yeah.
Would you like to come to my party? I've got menstrual blood punch and I've got jizz popsicles. Like what the fuck?
They generally bake it into bread. Like it's like
Is that real?
Yeah, it's Thelima's form of communion. Basically, it's
I'm just like-
semen and menstrual blood.
The
like
body of Christ,
baked
the
into
blood
bread.
of Christ.
Yeah.
It's not.
But you don't
Except,
have like
I mean, it's
the semen of
disgusting.
Christ.
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
of that movie Midsummer when the girl puts her period blood in that fucking lemonade or whatever.
That's what that was.
And her pubes in the pie.
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, it's like that, except instead of like a love spell, it's like you consuming your own power. Like
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just don't think I could
Do
ever.
you need to drink urine to consume your own power? I don't know.
I don't think I've read that one.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
I just like it's like how could you even like I don't even want to think about flavoring that differently. No, just no.
Nope.
Like I don't. I have so many things to say about cum. I'm just not going to. I'm just gonna leave it. Nope.
Yeah.
Not even gonna mention pineapple.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. There was like this drink. And my friend was like, doesn't this kind of taste like semen? I'm like, what? It was like a pineapple drink. And she's like, yeah, it kind of tastes like cum. I'm like, so of course I tried. I'm like, well, I mean, maybe a little bit. But like, no, I don't know what the people that you're hooking up with are eating, but
I remember
apparently it's different from the people that I'm hooking up with.
when I had a job in high school, one of my coworkers said that guys don't eat mushrooms because they taste like semen.
I love.
Which I
I
know
have
plenty
it on
of
good
guys that eat
authority.
mushrooms.
I don't know.
I thought that was bizarre, but
I've never heard that.
yeah,
But
How would they know?
I know that's true.
So
Okay.
let's get back to the
Yes.
stuff.
I'm sorry, I had to
Yeah.
because it's like you can't just tell me that they're all consuming bodily fluids.
Yeah.
Like several,
Yeah.
like not just like like maybe just drinking a little blood. It's like okay, like if it's several bodily fluids, there's got to be, and
Oh, yeah,
it's
there was,
magic,
like,
and it's
feces.
magic. Like there's some shit going on.
He, after marrying Rose Edith Kelly in 1904, he was contacted by a messenger of the god Horus during his honeymoon in Egypt, and that's when the Book of the Law was dictated to him, and that
What do you mean dictated to him?
by the messenger of Horus.
Okay,
And they
It's like-
contacted his wife first.
Yeah, like they were spending the night in like the pharaoh's room
Yes.
of the Great Pyramid, which is like nuts to
That's
think that
intense,
in like
yeah.
1904 you were allowed to just like spend the night in a pyramid.
Well, people used to buy mummies and just like unwrap them at parties.
what the?
It's crazy. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What'd you bring? Casserole? No, I brought a mummy.
It's like I like to drink in graveyards and shit, but like like you don't piss on someone's grave.
No.
Like, let alone, like, you know what? Let's just rob somebody's tomb and, like, show off their decayed corpse at a
I
party.
know.
Like, that's so fucked up. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm just going to be upset this podcast. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like, I
So starting off kind of like really weird and angry.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
It's
all right.
honestly, guys, it's just because I spent the entire day moving today.
yeah.
That'll do
And
it.
so I'm a little brain dead. Like, I'm
Maybe
a
it is
little,
terrible.
spent. I'm not actually angry about this stuff. I'm just like, I did absolutely no research for this, so everything is shocking to me. I'm like, what? What?
Just the way Crowley would have wanted it.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I'm kind of into it, though. I'm not going to lie. Like,
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
It really is. The Book of the Law claims that followers should do what thou will and align themselves with their true will through magic. He eventually uses this in he adapted the religion Thelema from this Book of the Law, which it's really interesting because when he came out with this book and was like, oh, it was dictated to me, he actually didn't believe everything that was written in the book, which is kind of strange because you would think that he was just, saying like, oh, this book was dictated to me, but it's really everything that I believe. But I don't know. I mean, just a weird situation. He was also
There's,
taking a
like-
lot of drugs, so.
Like I've never sat down to read a whole Book of the Law, but there's like commentary inside the book where he's like arguing with the
Yes.
spirit, like and like like in the middle of writing it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that he wrote a book that a spirit was telling him, but he's also, like, been on, like, lots of drugs.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
all the drugs.
like all
Well,
the
and
drugs.
like he's like this very like self-promoting sort of figure too. So like he's like for years and years and years afterwards, like talking about the book, he's like, there's so many like mysteries and logical puzzles in there that no human mind could possibly have come up with all on its
Yeah.
own to prove like how great this thing is. And it's like, you're just bragging about yourself though, really, right?
Like, it sounds like it.
It's like,
I'm a genius, basically.
Acknowledge me.
In 1905, his daughter Nuit, Ma, Ahathor, Mekate, Sappho, Jezebel, Lilith was born. They called
Okay. Like, there's always the name of the day.
Yeah.
We found a fucking winner. I don't even know how to say half of those. That's awesome. That's awesome. Like, if you're just gonna go for it like that, I'm
Went for
here
it hard.
For it.
Yeah.
Went for it hard, but like 7 fucking times. Like, that's tight.
what was that again?
Yeah.
Nuit, Ma, Ahathor, Mekate, Sappho, Jezebel, Lilith.
Wow.
I like that it's like 4 Egyptian deities.
Yeah.
And then just Sappho's just thrown in there. Like,
Yeah.
they have
We'll
a
just get
poet.
some obscure poetry and
And then it ends on a
cool.
lily. Or
Yeah.
what was it?
Lilith.
Yeah.
Lilith, perfect.
Yeah.
The mother of demons.
Yeah. And around that time, too,
what did she go by though?
Lilith.
Okay.
He also started his own publishing company called the Society of Propagation of Religious Truth. Yeah. And he published a book of poetry after his daughter was born. I don't have the name of it. I should have written that down.
That's okay.
He founded the AA in 1907.
Which is
Not Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yes.
FYI.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like A with like these like dot triangles next to it, like A dot 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 A dot dot dot. I don't know. And its members are dedicated to the advancement of humanity by perfection of the individual on every plane through a graded series of universal initiations. And it's basically like crossing Theravada Buddhism with Vedantic yoga and ceremonial magic.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he propagated the Lima with some of these ideas. This is a jump, but he joined the OTO in 1912. It's Ordo Templi Orientis, and I probably pronounced some of that wrong. Did anybody
I'm
know?
not even
Okay.
sure.
Order of the Temple.
And he even led the British branch for a while. His daughter died because I jumped forward, but I'm going to jump back a little bit because we were talking about founding AA in 1907. His daughter died that year too.
Aw, that's
I know,
sad.
which is really sad.
How old was she then?
About 2.
Damn.
And then his second daughter was born also around that time. The crazy thing is he blamed his wife for his daughter's death. She got sick while they were traveling, and he thought that she didn't clean like the nipples well enough, and he would like have sex with other people.
The nipples
in front
of the
her.
bottles that
And
the feeding tube bottles. Yeah.
Yeah. But
He would like have sex with other people in front of her to punish her? Or?
yeah, and something it was said that he would hang her from her ankles in the closet while that was happening. There's so many of these crazy stories that you don't know if
I
any
mean,
of them
like,
are
they
true.
could have just been into some good old-fashioned BDSM, but,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
also, and
He
then they
was-
could have been swingers before it was, like, the whole thing.
He was
It's hard to
like,
say, yeah.
Did they do...
awful to a lot of the people around him, like
He
throughout his
was.
whole life.
I was
So,
gonna say,
like,
because, like,
he-
if he's doing that in a manipulative way, like, that is
Yeah.
some sociopathic fucking behavior.
He
Yeah.
filed his teeth down so he could bite women. Because he thought that he was like infecting them with his power, and he would
Wow.
find people that maybe were like a little bit more submissive, or what some would say like broken people, and then he would just do like he'd be like extremely rough with them during sex. And I guess he would come up with these safe words that were very long phrases in Latin, so they couldn't
even
like
say them?
easily get out of some of these situations.
Did you have the
Wow.
story of him like in the Himalayas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to bring up a point that he was basically an expert rock climber too.
He was.
Amidst
Yeah, he was
like,
great at
I'm doing
doing
all
that
these
too.
drugs all the time, but I'm
He's
an
really
awesome
smart
rock
and
climber.
talented. Yeah.
That's
But
funny.
like,
It's bizarre, yeah.
but like somebody on one of his expeditions was like in trouble, and like he didn't go help.
Oh, it
So
was
like
a-
nobody would go.
He
mountain
probably
climbing
enjoyed
with
watching
him
them
ever again.
suffer.
It was like his first climb that he was leading, because he'd gone on a bunch before, but it was in the Himalayas. And what happened was they didn't have enough food and some of the supplies that they needed, and there was really bad weather, and it was just very poorly planned. So some of the people tried to kind of gang up against him and decide to go back down. They were just going to leave and it was going to be done with. And he told them not to do it, and they did it anyway, and there was an avalanche, and these people were screaming because they weren't dead. And he sat in his tent and drank tea and didn't help them. And it was partially because they didn't listen to him, and they went against what he said even though he told them not to do it.
But that's sociopathic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because one of the rules at the time was supposed to be like if you were like climbing the mountain with other people, if you heard people in trouble, like you wouldn't like just leave them. You would try to
that's like
help them if you could.
common.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what you do. You help somebody out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
So did
It's
those
really
people
sad.
die?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Basically,
sorry.
yeah.
That's so fucked up. Like, I feel like that's like the twist in like so many movies.
I know.
It's like he's like the villain. Like he's like a Disney villain.
He was into just
Like-
dark magic. If he was in Harry
the crazy
Potter,
thing is, a
who
lot
would
of
he
the
be?
stuff that he
Definitely Voldemort.
Voldemort for sure.
For sure.
He kind of looked like Voldemort too, with
The
a
crazy
shaved
thing
head.
is, like, he wasn't completely evil. There was a lot of stuff that he did that was just kind of, weird and out there. But just some of the way that he treated other
just
people.
like sitting and drinking tea casually while people that
people are
piss you
dying
off are
and
dying.
screaming.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
God, that's some next level shit.
Yeah.
I've never heard any of this stuff,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm like, wow, mind blown.
By 1914, he was broke and he was living off dues from AA members. He lived in the U.S. briefly and wrote for Vanity Fair. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it's quite bizarre.
It gets crazier.
I'm so excited right now.
In 1915, he allegedly worked as a double agent for Britain before, World War I. He was writing newspapers in the U.S. as if he was a German man, and kind of, embellishing these stories to make them seem really terrible. So then the U.S. would, eventually want to get involved in everything.
war.
Yeah, and there's an even crazier story around, World War II that we'll get to. He founded the Abbey of Thelema in 1920 in Sicily, where he set up a commune and was eventually evicted by the Italian government in 1923.
The government just evicted him. Like, we don't like you.
The building is,
Get
you can
out.
see YouTube videos of people at the building too, because like nobody's lived there since.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Oh.
just been abandoned since then.
That's probably for the
think-
best.
I think one of his gardeners, I don't remember if it was at this house or his house on Loch Ness, but he went insane and tried to murder his family. Yeah, wild. There's a lot of people that kind of lost their minds while...
And this
Being
is
in
like
the proximity
around the
of
time
it?
that he was
Yeah.
also trying to summon demons.
And they were also
correct?
doing
Yeah.
massive amounts of
yeah.
drugs.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like,
No, it didn't have anything to do with the drugs. It was all the demons.
I don't
Well,
know.
and
Like, I feel
also-
like if something crazy and fucked up happens in a place, it kind of leaves like a residual like energy.
Yeah, there's
agree
like
with
a
that.
vibe.
Like if somebody was like murdered in a house, like that's like those are typically the houses that are haunted
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like if you're like straight up like if he successfully summoned demons and shit, like if
yeah.
yeah.
this is like funny for me to talk about too because I'm actually like an atheist, so I'm like okay.
yeah. Sure.
Demons. But like yeah, I feel like that would definitely leave a residual effect if there was some like crazy stuff going on.
And it brings it back to what you were saying before too, because like whether or not you want to call him sociopathic, he was definitely manipulative.
Oh, very.
And like
Yeah.
that like affects everybody around the person.
Yeah.
He like
Absolutely.
behaves that way because like your reality just distorts like around a person like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned before that he thought that he had, gone to the level where he was like higher than the gods. And that
Yeah.
was because he had this ritual that he performed when he was at the, Italian commune where he had to be like sexually exhausted in every way and then take
Right.
like every drug. And then like after that he was like, I'm higher than
Sounds like Motley Crue,
I
where
was
they're
gonna
just
say,
like,
living the dream.
So after
Good on you, dude.
this guy was a rock and roll rock star, like before.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess just
Literally,
the
like,
excess
everything
to
about
the
him. Yeah.
So this, I don't, somewhere, at some point he lived in Paris. I don't know if it was before or after Italy, but I thought this was worth mentioning. A woman that was like performing sex rituals with him had a baby girl. She had left her husband, went and, kind of had a thing with Crowley for a while, and then went back to her husband, and Barbara Pierce Bush was born.
Yeah, this is completely bizarre.
Yeah. So she might be his child.
So the president of our country would be Aleister Crowley's grandson, possibly, right?
Yeah. Well,
It's just
that she
Wow.
was married
Wait.
to another president. So
We never heard that. Wow.
yeah, I know, wild.
yeah.
Oh, he
That
also
is-
shot two
that
men
is
in India. He didn't
Yeah,
kill
isn't
them,
that like beyond belief. It's probably not true, but who knows?
Well, all the stuff online was showing like all these pictures of the two of them saying like they looked alike, and I couldn't find one where I thought that they had like one similar feature in common.
Yeah.
So,
But I guess the fact that it's like also like the potential, like valid potential that there could be,
right?
that he could be the father, like that's funny.
Yeah. And the mom of director Preston Sturges lived with him for a while, and he was like pretty abusive at the time, and he said that he and his mother like barely escaped alive.
Wow.
Yeah, as he got older and he got sick and he was more addicted to drugs, he got more and more cruel. And that was when he started fantasizing about killing somebody while like orgasming, and wanted to cut their body parts into cut their body up into 9 pieces, burn the head, and then carve the names of different gods into the pieces of the bodies. I don't think he did it, but still wanted to do that. Yeah, his health began to fail because he had syphilis and because of all the drug use. He was really addicted to heroin and cocaine, and like his septum even collapsed, and he had surgery to try to repair it.
Wow.
Yeah. He lost 2 additional children by Dorothy Olson. They had a nanny that he hired to take care of their first child, and I guess the story is the nanny performed spells against the first child because she was also pregnant by him, and the child died, and then because of the trauma of losing her child, she also lost a pregnancy, so miscarried the baby. So
wow.
Yeah. Then they don't
wait,
talk about the nanny's child, where like
question,
what happened to
I
that.
do have a question. So like, did him and his first wife stay together?
They didn't really, because he like
he
kind of
got
went off and did
remarried,
something.
right?
He did eventually. She
Okay.
died. But they had their second daughter. I don't
How
think
did
I said her
she
name,
die?
Lola Zaza.
How did she die? Does it say?
Nothing crazy. I think she just got sick and she was an alcoholic.
Oh, the alcoholic
So-
one, yeah.
I was just curious because, like, you know, I mean, if he's like fantasizing about like chopping somebody
yeah,
up.
No, I think she
was
died in an
curious.
asylum. An insane
She
asylum.
was. I don't think she died in the asylum, but she was committed for a while.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he hated his daughter by her. He thought she was boring and stupid and said a bunch of really terrible things about her. But she was raised by her uncle, who was originally friends with Crowley before he married his sister. She was supposed to marry someone else. There was an arranged marriage, and then he stepped in to try to save her from it, which is actually kind of a cool thing to do because she didn't want to marry the guy. So he left the OTO in 1926 after he was supposed to be named head, but was challenged by leader of the German section. He faked his death in 1930 and says at the Boca Joe Inferno rock formation, but then reemerged in Berlin 3 weeks later at his own art exhibition.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so brilliant because all people probably came out and, to see his work.
Right.
Oh my
But
gosh.
he
That
couldn't
would've been
go
kind of
without
amazing.
hearing the praise of it, right?
Yeah, like how to trap a narcissist.
I guess his artwork didn't sell very well at that exhibit either.
Well, fuck yeah. It's like, I thought you were dead, dude.
Yeah.
Probably just like, why did he try to fake his death?
I don't know. I think just because he could. Wanted to see if he could do it, if he could pull it off.
He'd pretty much done everything else. He'd climbed like Mount Everest and like, I'm going to fake my own death.
Yeah.
I'm still like laughing about that. He had to be sexually exhausted and
Yeah.
take all of the drugs.
Well, it was like not just sexually exhausted, but sexually exhausted in every way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, which is really funny.
yeah.
Like that's like one of the main things with Selima's magic is like they believe that like your willpower is at its strongest while you're orgasming, so you can change, like you can do more magic in the middle of an
Okay.
orgasm than at any other time.
Sounds plausible. I don't know. I'm not going to argue.
So he tried to sue several people for libel in 1932, but lost and then was declared bankrupt. He had a son, also Aleister, and then Ataturk. Who was born in 1937. And at this time, he was living off of money from, it was like a branch of the OTO that was in California. And this was, which I know I said he left earlier, and he did, but then he kind of got back into it enough to kind of, the branch in of California to make money off of it. And what's interesting about this, it was led by Jack Parsons, the rocket scientist, and he was experimenting with sex magic with L. Ron Hubbard and his wife, Sarah Winthorpe. Yeah.
I don't know who those people
L. Ron Hubbard, Scientology.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at names, so.
Yeah, and then Jack Parsons died really mysteriously. They also, his wife, Sarah ran off with L. Ron Hubbard, and they stole a bunch of Jack Parsons' money, and then he died not too long after that in a really mysterious way. Like during one of his experiments, his lab exploded and he died.
Yeah, it's like
Strange.
it's all coming around. Like our first episode was about Scientology and how they like to fuck with people. I'm like, it's all making sense now.
He believed that Hitler would have eventually converted to Thelema, and he thought that Mein Kampf.
No doubt.
He thought that he influenced Mein Kampf, but
Of course he did. Like,
Yeah.
it probably has like one similar sentence structure. And he's like,
Yeah.
I wrote that.
Yeah.
I totally wrote
Plagiarized the whole thing.
He eventually, though, labeled him as a black magician after the Nazis abolished the German OTO. And this time he was like using heroin pretty heavily to treat his asthma. And
That's a common treatment for asthma,
well,
isn't
the
it?
doctors actually
I guess
told
it
him to
was
do
back
that.
then. Yeah, I don't know.
that. I mean, like they.
Maybe they were just trying
do
to
they
kill him. Like, they
still,
didn't like
or
him.
Yeah.
But they used to. Like every pharmacy had cocaine in the safe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
like-
do now.
They used to.
Yeah, I
no,
can't
they
imagine they
used
do
to.
now, yeah.
Yeah, those were all, drugs prescribed, but I don't know.
Opioids,
Opiates, yeah.
is still like
Yeah.
that's one of the main painkillers. Like they
Yeah.
keep trying to find something to replace them with, but like nothing works better than
Yeah.
opium
Yeah.
for pain relief.
But I've never heard of painkillers for asthma.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was trying to say. I
Yeah,
was like, that
that's-
doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
During World War II, he, tried to kind of work as a double agent again. And then this story comes up, which I have no idea if there's any truth to it whatsoever, but I guess he helped lure this Nazi Hess to I don't have as much information as I should about this, but I'll tell like the basic
General synopsis.
Yes. Okay, so he lured this guy so he could, question him. And then Ian Fleming, who wrote the James Bond books,
Right.
decided that he wanted to question this guy. So they gave him like a ton of peyote and I guess got information from
Yeah.
him. So, but then there's also information saying that he was turned down when he tried to, work for the British government. So who knows? I like this story better though, where they questioned him.
I like that they're like giving somebody peyote to question them.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna-
Yeah.
And while you're at it, find your spirit animal.
Yeah.
Right.
So he died December 1st, 1947, of chronic bronchitis and pleurisy.
What's pleurisy?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe no.
I'll look that shit up.
Let's look it up real
It's
quick.
like asthma related. That the heroin didn't work.
Yeah, it's a big surprise.
How do you spell it?
Should have used more coke.
Balance it out with some coke.
Yeah, gotta get
It's-
the speedball balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's with a PH.
Okay.
No, it's PLEURISY. Yeah.
Oh, I know that word, but I don't know
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
it means.
all those old timey diseases.
Oh, there's also a crazy story about how.
It's definitely lung related.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Inflammation of tissues that line the lungs and chest cavity.
How is it treated these days? Is it one of those ones where it's just like penicillin? Like,
Right, yeah.
It resolves within days to weeks
Probably.
if you're treating it. You have to do lab testing and imaging.
Okay, so I have just some basic rumors about him. One was that because when he was a child, after he went and saw the prostitute when he was 15, he went back and they don't know if he forced the maid to have sex with him or if like she was willing, but he impregnated the maid and the mom fired her, of course, and she was ruined and had to become a prostitute. And then she maybe was killed by Jack the Ripper, his first victim.
yeah, I've heard that story.
Yeah,
before.
so don't know if it's true. And then he swears that he knew who Jack the Ripper was. He said it was Robert Donston Stevenson. And he was actually one of like the people that they, definitely say that they
Right,
thought
so that was a real
was
person.
Jack the Ripper, but he was in a mental institution at the time when like the murders happened. So they said that they couldn't prove that he could get out and get back in.
Right,
So,
but they did find out who Jack the Ripper is, and it wasn't that person, right?
I don't know that they
No, yeah.
I don't
I don't
know.
know who he is for
Nobody's-
sure.
I thought that was like
Recently.
a thing that like happened like 2 years ago. Like,
Oh.
People claim that like every 10 years, but
That's
then
true.
everybody else
Yeah.
disagrees with it.
that's true.
Yeah.
Another rumor is that his dying words were "I am perplexed," but then there's other
That's pretty tight.
things that people
I am
say too.
perplexed.
Yeah.
Profound.
It's like that. It's it. I'm so high.
More
I'm
drugs, please.
perplexed.
That's a very fancy way to say that.
Like, oh, that's a good. What do you call it? Like death. What? Like when your last words, like your death murmur or whatever.
Your last
Are you talking
words.
about like
I don't-
death rattle?
Yeah.
Like the rattle
Oh.
from your lungs?
But like in a
That's
poetic
real.
way, people call like your last words your death rattle.
Okay.
Even though that's not actually what a death rattle is. I don't know.
Yeah, so lots of musicians were influenced by Crowley, and I have a very long list of that.
I'm genuinely like fascinated by like why this guy is so famous though.
Because think
'Cause he was
about
publishing a lot
how
of books.
different he was at the time. Think about how some of the stuff that people were doing in like the 60s, like the free love, and
And he did want the attention
like,
too.
Yeah, back in early mid 1900s, he was already doing this, and like you said earlier, living like a rock star.
Basically, yeah.
He just like he had sex with whoever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to.
I like that his like wives were just like, yeah, it's for a ritual, right? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, oh, good, I can have a break. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And
Yeah.
Well, they said
There's-
like, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like there's elements to like his philosophy and like his sort of magic that like is very like predates like the flower child sort of thing and like that like 60s interest in like the occult and esoteric stuff and all that.
Right.
That like his stuff was incredibly individualistic versus like you could do
We're all
Thelema
one.
all by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
didn't need to be part of an organization and work your way up through initiations like in a bunch of the other groups.
Yeah.
And it wasn't moralistic. I wasn't telling you how to act or anything like
Yeah.
that at the same time.
That
It
makes
was
sense.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I guess I would just keep on forgetting about like what time and era
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's like a long history.
Yeah.
And it's a lifetime.
And I guess I don't know if this is true, but I was reading that Wicca is somewhat based off of Thelema.
Yeah, Gerald Gardner, the guy that wrote the first book on Wicca, was a member of the OTO, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
He has a long reach into like
Oh yeah.
everything.
He really
Disney.
does.
He owned.
Like-
No, I don't know. I made that up.
Maybe.
Maybe,
Like
probably.
Don't
he
know.
comes up in Wicca a bunch too because some of the early rituals were based on Crowley.
Okay.
And then like the later
Well, like anything
additions
with
to-
like high magics and stuff like that too.
but like directly taking like Crowley's specific writings.
Interesting.
And then like later witches would come along and rewrite it because like Gerald Gardner was super influenced by Crowley. Nobody else thought that was really appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first person I'm going to talk about is Ozzy Osbourne.
Crowley.
Yes.
Mr. Crowley.
Oh yeah.
Keep going. Don't
So
stop.
the song Mr. Crowley, which you guys were just singing so lovely for everyone, on his 1980 solo debut titled Blizzard of Oz. And I guess in an interview with Circus Magazine, also 1980, he commented that he was a phenomenon of his time and that the song lyrics ask, "Did you talk to the dead?" And also says, "Your life seems so tragic," which I guess, in some ways it was. Like, he had a sad childhood for sure.
I think I'm just gonna always hate him a little bit for the
Avalanche people.
The Avalanche
Yeah.
people.
That alone.
And just how he treated,
Women.
When like
and not just women, men, old. They talked about how he had a phase where he would only sleep with elderly people. And
Well, he was just an abusive dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
but how many of his children died there? I lost count. Of, like, how many
Right.
died.
At
Half a
least-
dozen or so, maybe.
3.
I mean, that's pretty crazy too. And like, especially when he's talking about all these rituals, it's like, okay,
Right.
was there a sacrifice?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
there though?
Who knows?
Was there though?
Yeah.
Part of the reason that he was trying to sue all those people, I guess someone had claimed that he sacrificed a baby, that someone went to one of the rituals pregnant and then like the baby never was seen again, but that like they said that it was completely untrue.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. I know. But they did sacrifice animals, which is awful.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's beyond, belief that could have happened.
I don't
But
think
like,
I don't think it did,
Okay, but
but-
also like, definitely not saying animal sacrifice is okay in
Yeah.
any way or like cool or anything.
Yeah.
But that's like been a thing like since like creation. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's in the Bible, I'm
when
sure.
he was a child,
Oh, yeah.
he had heard, cats have 9 lives, and he took a cat and he first poisoned it, then hung it, then slit its throat.
Ugh.
Then,
because he literally thought they had 9 lives.
Oh, yeah,
so
he
he killed it
killed it
like
in
9
9
different
different ways,
ways
like crushed
just
the
to
skull,
make
threw it out.
sure
yeah,
that it
it
wouldn't
would
come
stay
back.
dead.
That's sad.
That's really sad.
experiment successful.
See, going
It's
back
dead.
to the sociopath.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
this is just
I
complete
feel like it's
sociopath.
definitely sounding like more and more like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
Seriously. Iron Maiden, their frontman Bruce Dickinson's song Revelations from their 1981 album Peace of Mind was written about Crowley. His 2008 film called Chemical Wedding was about a college professor manifested by Crowley's malevolent spirit. And the soundtrack of the film featured Iron Maiden's Can I Play With Madness, and then some of his solo material. And his autobiography even delves a little deeper into his fascination with Crowley.
Iron Man's so boss. I usually use that word because I don't know why I just used it right now, but
It's too late. You can't take it back.
Bitchin'.
And then this, I don't know if I accidentally wrote my... Did they have a song, or did he have a song called Moonchild?
God, no, who's that? That's King Crimson, right?
Okay.
No, I'm thinking Starchild, right? Shit.
I don't
Let's
know.
see.
Is there on the second Iron Maiden?
It could be like his solo stuff too.
I'm thinking of Rapture.
Yeah, no, I just...
Oh yeah, it's Moonchild by Iron Maiden. And it was...
There's also a King Crimson song
It was
called that too, though.
not
That's
to...
why- so I'm not...
Oh,
like,
okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and it's...
Yeah, he had a book called Moonchild.
Okay.
So.
Because, like, yeah, King Crimson, like, it's, like, also this great scene in Buffalo 66, where what's her name? Is it
Christina Ricci?
Yeah, she, like, does, like, this little tap dance in the middle of a bowling alley to this King Crimson song.
Huh.
Yeah.
I went as that for Halloween one year. Nobody
Oh,
fucking...
cool.
Maybe
Nobody
like,
got it.
People knew who it was.
I always love that though. When no one knows who you're going as.
Yeah,
just
it's
like
cool sometimes, but sometimes,
yourself.
like, damn it, like...
It's like something you have to explain.
Yeah. I went as the monster from Attack the Block a couple years ago,
the best
and I spent
costume.
like hours and hours on
Days.
this costume.
That was an awesome
Days
It
on
was
it.
awesome,
know.
and
It's in your
I mean,
top
it looked
five.
How did people
awesome
know?
anyway. Like, but nobody knew what I was from,
That's
except for like my
insane.
friends that I saw the movie with. Yeah.
I was so excited for that movie to come out.
Oh yeah, I saw it at the Cinema Center. I was pumped.
That's crazy.
I'm still stuck on tap dancing the King Crimson.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah.
I think it's funny because it's like I can still think of like the tap patterns
Yeah.
because I try to learn the tap dance because I know how to tap dance.
Oh.
Just to be
that's
like
cool.
that much more extra.
Yeah.
That would have been intense.
But I didn't feel like it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I got like halfway through. I'm like, fuck this. Like, I'm just not. Like, I'm not gonna put on a performance at this Halloween party. It's fine.
That's definitely an unspoken Halloween rule. Like you can't have something in your hands. There shouldn't be a dance that goes with your costume.
No, but I did wear tap shoes though, just to be annoying.
Yeah.
And it was super
You're
annoying.
clicking and clacking
It's
all night.
really fun to walk in though, because I remember my sister was really into dance when I was younger, and I used to love like stealing her shoes and like walking around the house
It was a good time.
on the wood floors. Yeah.
It was a good time.
So Red Hot Chili Peppers, their
Let's-
Yeah.
1991
Sugar Sex
album, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a nod to his sex magic rituals he performed, and
I mean, that just sounds cool. Like sex magic. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty tight.
yeah.
Like, I don't really care what it's about. It just sounds cool.
Yeah, and guitarist John Frusciante found himself more intrigued than the other band members, and he read several of his books and a couple biographies about him, and then his 2004 album Inside of Emptiness featured songs Emptiness, I'm Around, and 666, which are all Crowley inspired. I like how I keep changing the way I say his last name, because I was sticking with Crowley, and then I keep like
I know,
accidentally
it's
saying it a
hard.
different
Like,
way.
it's,
Yeah.
Can't decide.
I think it's because you're looking at it. If you're looking at it, you think, well, this has to be Crowley, right? Wait, or Crow? No, I don't even know which one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the name of the house that he bought in Loch Ness was called Bullskin House. And because I'm going to talk about it now. Led Zeppelin is the next band.
Right, and we talked about that in the Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin. Yeah.
We did, because Jimmy Page. On Led Zeppelin 3, there's a groove, like it's inscribed with Do What Thou Will. And...
I was trying to remember which episodes I hadn't listened to, and that's one.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like Robert Plant's voice is like my Eddie Vedder.
Oh.
Like I never want to hear it again in my life.
But
I
the other
pretty
half of
much
the
agree with
episode is
you.
about Robert Johnson.
I like Led Zeppelin.
The guitar work's amazing. It's absolutely.
I like the vocals too, though. But,
I don't
to each
like
their
Robert
own.
Plant that much.
Liz is just like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmy Page opened his occult bookshop, Equinox, which was named after the book series by Crowley. And he bought his house at Loch Ness in Scotland, and that which actually burnt down, which we talked about. And that house, when Crowley purchased it, he bought it specifically because it fit in. There were certain guidelines for the rituals, like they had to have I'm making this up, but like south-facing window or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
And
This
so
much proximity to water. And yeah.
yeah,
I
and
believe
then remember there were a lot of rumors about the bad luck of the band was blamed on his fascination with Crowley. No, just a weird fact.
Bad luck. They sold like 8 billion
I know.
records.
I know.
Like every high schooler that's ever smoked weed has listened to Led Zeppelin at some point in their life. Like,
Yeah.
prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong.
So next,
But I guess John Bonham did die pretty
yeah.
young, but I don't know.
Bowie is next, and a photo shoot that took place around the release of album Hunky Dory. I guess he models a look similar to like the Golden Dawn garb. And his 1971 song Quicksand starts with the line, "I'm closer to the Golden Dawn." He admitted himself that he was interested in Crowleyism and the Kabbalah in a 1976 interview. And then around this time, that was also when he was like using a lot of cocaine, and he would only like eat and drink like milk and peppers and
Just doing weird stuff.
Yeah, not often.
Being
and
weird.
He thought that his pool was possessed by a demon,
Well, and that's
or a
his,
demon lived in his pool.
his Thin White Duke period, and I think
Yeah.
you could probably make a really good case that like the Thin White Duke is based on like an Aleister Crowley sort of person.
Yeah.
That most people get hung up on like that character being really like fascist and racist and all that stuff, which is a big part of like that persona. But like the song "Station is Station," which is like the Thin White Duke's like theme song, like literally like the station is the Kabbalah. It's going through the tree of life from Kether to Malkuth, like from the earth up into heaven, and like there's all kinds of references to like occult and magical stuff in that song.
That's
I could totally see Bowie being into
Yeah.
mystical sex
definitely-
magic with.
Yeah, but like because it's
You know.
Bowie, like it's not as like
Yeah.
right there like it is for like Ozzy
Yeah.
Osbourne, or like
Yeah.
he's like, I'm just gonna name what my influence is, but for Bowie it's like
Yeah.
buried under all these
Metaphorical
like
and, like,
metaphor
kinda
and
hidden.
performances and stuff. There's a book by, I think his name is Peter Berbergau, called what's the name? I can't think of the name of the book. That's about like the occult and rock, and like he tries to make a case that like Bowie's personas were all like it was almost like a magic ritual. Like he was
Okay.
transforming, which like in like Golden Dawn magic and like in Wicca, like the idea is like you're taking on the spirit of whatever god or angel or
Yeah.
demon or whatever, and like Bowie's like theatrics were often like that, where he was becoming whatever character while he was on stage.
okay.
Yeah.
Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, Major Tom. Although
got that
was
song in my
Major
head.
was
control.
he ever Major Tom though, or did he just talk about Major Tom in the song?
He talked about it in the song, but
Yeah,
then
I
like he
don't-
used it as a metaphor for himself in Ashes to Ashes.
Okay.
Where, like
And wasn't Dark Star actually
yeah, there's like I don't know,
a lot of references to
or Black Star.
Black Star? I don't know
Yeah,
why I said
yeah.
Dark
There's like all kinds of like I haven't looked at any of them yet, but there's all kinds
Yeah.
of essays and YouTube videos that are talking about how Black Star might be like his final occult, whatever.
Yeah,
That's
I
tight.
remember reading about that. I
Yeah.
still haven't listened to that album. I'm saving it.
Yeah, and I've been going through Bowie chronologically, and I'm only up
Yeah.
to like Heathen, I think. So I still got a
Okay.
few left.
I have not listened to his newest album,
Yeah.
which I kind of forgot until you mentioned it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newest album that's what, 5 years old now? 6?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Beatles, their 1967 album "Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band" features Crowley standing in the top left row, which somebody want to describe what this album cover looks like?
Sgt. Pepper's? I think everyone knows
Yeah.
what that looks
Okay.
like.
Well, no, but
it's
I
just
mean-
a collage of all kinds of famous historical people.
Yeah, and then they are the only actual people in the picture. The rest are cardboard cutouts.
Right. They're standing in
Like
front
almost
of
like
like-
paper dolls of the people.
yeah, and their Beatle. What are those jackets?
Marching band.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're kind of like
Yeah.
marching band jackets.
Yeah. But I guess he's right next to Mae West, the actress Mae West.
Feel bad for her.
I know, right?
It's not going to end well.
It's like the lurky Crowley too. It's not, because when he was younger,
The
he
Uncle
looked
Fester
somewhat
Crowley,
normal.
yeah.
where he's looking.
When he was
very
younger, he was
sinister.
just a pretty normal looking guy from the pictures I
people
saw.
said that he was
Yeah.
attractive and very
Yeah.
charismatic.
He's a rock climber. It's
Yeah.
hot.
So he's probably in decent shape.
It's funny because I feel like I can't help but talk shit about this dude because of his like actions.
Yeah.
Like, but I haven't read any of his books, so I'm not talking like if you subscribe to like this type of religion and stuff like that. I'm not
Right.
trying to be offensive to
No, and
anybody.
the guy was, very
just like
intelligent.
just thinking
Yeah.
about this, like I'm like, wait, I've talked a lot of shit in this episode, but it's also just because this dude's like manipulative and and not caring if people will die.
Yeah.
But that's like
Yeah.
part of like him being like this before rock even existed. He was a rock star. Is like he wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he totally called himself the Beast, just like his mom nicknamed
Yeah.
him. Like
Yeah, also like man, like we could really dissect that too. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I feel like a therapist.
Right.
How did that make you feel?
So the cover was designed by Peter Blake, and it was rumored at one point they even considered adding Hitler to the group of people. Each band member picked people that they would like to see in an ideal film. And other people featured are Bob Dylan, Fred Astaire, Laurel and Hardy, Tony Curtis, Brando, Marilyn, and Edgar Allan Poe, William S. Burroughs, Dylan Thomas, Aubrey Beardsley, Oscar Wilde. And then the fun part is...
That would be a fun movie.
Well, I mean, this is...
They're all in one movie.
Included, but, and there are so many things that say that it was Lennon that had the Crowley fascination, but then I've also read... articles that talked about how it was McCartney's suggestion to put him. So I don't know.
That's the entire Beatles history is.
I know.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Touche.
I think the Beatles probably just enjoyed the free sex that the 60s had, that late 60s movement, the free sex and drugs, and that kind of correlated to what Crowley was doing. I can't speak for them, but they probably weren't into the dark sex magic and ritualistic cutting of people. I don't know.
And demon summoning.
Oh yeah, because for a
That
while
too.
he had people every time that they would refer to themselves as I or anything, like they had to cut themselves with a blade. Just weird. Yeah. And
There's
they also
no
had to
I
drink
in
cat's
team.
blood, which is interesting. Yeah.
It was so bad, but it worked so well.
Okay, Ministry, their song Golden Dawn from album Land of Rape and Money. Actually, it was Honey, not Money. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. They use
I like that better, though.
Gold and money. Yeah.
Right. They use samples of Crowley's Call of the Second Aether chant, and that was used to summon spirits. So,
Oh, that sounds creepy.
yeah, Marilyn Manson.
Shocking. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Shocking.
Yeah.
Never saw that one coming.
So the song,
Sorry.
the song Misery Machine says, we're going to ride to the Abbey of Thelema, and that was from his debut album. And then it also includes the line, do what thou will. And Merciful Fate. I haven't heard of this band. Have you guys?
I've heard the name. I don't know that.
Yeah. Their song Desecration of Souls incorporates themes of Thelema and includes the line do what thou will, which and shall be the whole of the law. Their song The Oath follows the plot of Moonchild, the novel, and even says stay away from the white magician, referring to one of the opposing forces of the mage war in the novel. I kind of want to read that just because it talks about a mage war, and I feel like I would be totally into
I know.
that.
It's like, I feel like, wait, like, that sounds like something that I would read too. Like, for sure. I'm really into high fantasy, so.
Yeah.
It just piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, maybe this guy's not so bad. I'm gonna fucking read one of his books.
I know.
What was that book again?
Moonchild.
Moonchild.
Yeah.
So an
probably
artist
read it.
or
Yeah,
band
I'll check it
called
out.
Samaels, Samaels. The song Crown includes the line, a crown of thorns is still a crown, which is lifted from Crowley's poem, The Titanic.
It's not yawning.
Yeah. A band called...
So exciting.
No, it's not that. It's because
Yeah,
I'm
tired.
physically exhausted right now. But
The band X-Hoarders.
Never heard of them.
Anybody?
Heard of them?
Okay. Their song The Law opens with do what that will be the whole of the law. Once again, principles of Thelema. And then a lot of this is just kind of random stuff, but Lucifer Rising, I know we'd all talked about that. I guess Mick Jagger was gonna star in the film.
But it's his brother. Yeah. Who looks so much like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles Manson supposedly visited the 1960 Solar Lodge of OTO. He claimed that he was Jesus and Satan as one person and the reincarnated soul of Aleister Crowley. Yeah.
that's a pretty big claim.
Yeah.
Does it talk about?
There's a lot
drugs
going
in
on.
that? No.
Wait, Manson claimed that?
Yeah, Charles Manson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that timeline matches up because he died in
I know.
47? Yeah.
47. Yeah, he died.
Is when
47.
Crowley died. And
Yeah.
Manson had to have
It would have been in the 60s.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long that they say talk about the Solar Lodge. I don't know, if that's still up and running. Who knows?
I believe it. I don't care.
Yeah. Tool, it says Maynard from Tool was very interested in Crowley, the
Not shocked about
Freemasons,
that one.
Yeah.
and
Not at all.
Rosicrucians. Tiamat, a band recorded a Crowley poem called The Pentagram. Behemoth's song, Death of Therion, their songs, Death of Therion and Lamb and Zool were all influenced by Crowley. Their song, Horns of Baphomet, include a soundbite of Crowley speaking. And that's actually, he said Crowley called him, he had people call him, and he called himself Baphomet for a while. Yeah, and that I guess they're a Polish death metal band. And that's it.
Funny. I'm surprised that there's not more. Like
there were so many more.
I was gonna say about like every band like try to add themselves into like the Wikipedia. We wrote this thing and it's like, but you're not even on a label, dude.
There's Reddit pages that include so much more information.
Sure.
Yeah, I just
Once you got to the metal bands, it was like, okay, hold on, we can't be here all night.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Every metal band.
An entire like 2 or 3 genres. It's like every single band.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like Christian forums too, where they start listing all the connections, and I think it really just starts with the Beatles and the Sgt. Pepper album cover, where they blame Crowley for inventing rock and roll, like as part of like a big like plan to corrupt all the kids.
Yeah.
There was an article too that I found while reading about Charles Manson, where they said that he was brainwashed by the Illuminati. And that's why, he killed people. And, that's why I guess eventually Aleister Crowley came into the mix as well. But I don't know. I thought that was funny. I didn't read that whole thing because I was like, this is so ridiculous. But
everything we talked about tonight was ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree.
Basically.
I mean, like, that is like...
Not in a bad way, yeah.
That is quite the fucking biography.
Yeah, that's...
I know, right?
And I guess that's why people...
so much out.
Are still into him, because it was so ridiculous.
But also, I mean, like, it's just, that's a crazy life.
Yeah.
That's a crazy life. I just wonder, like, were any of the parties fun?
Yeah. I bet they were real serious.
Yeah.
They're real serious. I don't know.
I don't mean, it kind of sounds like it could be, though.
But there was a ton of drugs.
Were they
reminds me of... when people think about a nude beach and they're like, oh, this is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go and it's like a bunch of people that you might not want to see nude.
It's
I
not
feel
like
it could
Eyes
be
Wide
that, where
Shut.
it's like you have all these...
And I'm just like thinking, like, this whole time, I think what's really bothered me is like thinking, like, if I was trying to perform a ritual sex magic, I don't think I'd be able to come. Because I would be so concentrated.
Be kind of nervous.
Yeah.
And like I'm already like, especially if it's
got,
maybe
like,
the first
the drugs
time
come in.
partner, I'm not really comfortable.
You got to remember
anyway.
all that Latin or ancient Egyptian or whatever.
It's like instead of moaning someone's name, it's just like whatever fucking they're wanting me to say. Like I just don't think I could handle that. I don't think I would
the
be
drugs
up
come
for
in.
Well,
yeah, but like still, I mean, like I've done some drugs, and I don't think that would really work for me.
Yeah, I don't think the heroin would help.
I've definitely never tried heroin, but I definitely don't see how I would be able to remember shit.
But that's like the ritual that was being performed in Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
Like why it stopped was because like the ritual he had prepared, like he had to wake up at like 4 a.m. and like meditate for like 12 hours, then do some other stuff, and then meditate again for hours and hours and hours. And he just got
was in it for
bored.
like 18 months, and he was only supposed to like eat bread and drink water.
Yeah. And like he just got bored and stopped, and like that's why everybody says that house is haunted, because the ritual was so boring that
this house
Like,
is like
but
haunted
sex magic
by like
sounds
the
amazing.
worst time. Like this is like no one had fun at this house. There's just this dude that like wanted to fucking talk to you because he's like meditating and just eating some fucking bread again, like just meditating and I'm sorry.
But like, that's all of that stuff is part of his influence in like the esoteric world too, because like in early Wicca, like it's all like BDSM based, and all the magic is supposed to be done naked, and things that witches since then have dropped. But like that
I
all
know that like
came
the people
from
still
Crowley.
talk about like the whole skyclad thing though, but that's also not just from that. I mean, that's like different forms of paganism use that too.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know that. I said you know that though.
Yeah, but like a lot of that like comes from Crowley. Yeah,
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
So the question that I have is...
It's pronounced Crowley. Next question.
Is he a lizard person?
Yeah, is he a reptilian overlord? That's it. I was going to ask the same thing. And
No doubt. He's everything else.
I'm definitely saying yes because he has tie-ins with all of the fucking
like Freemasons, Illuminati, the Beatles.
I'm gonna say no, because he got kicked out of like every club that he joined.
But was it
and like
because
he
was
really,
a fucking
really,
lizard?
really wanted to be a lizard person.
Right,
but it wasn't
he would want
working
people
out
to
for him.
believe that he was.
Yeah.
I'll back that. That's a good point, Liz. That's a good point. He's a failed lizard person. He's the outcast of
He
the
tried
lizards.
to,
His tail got chopped off.
9 times.
In different ways. Oh my gosh.
Is that about it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for
Covered a lot of ground tonight.
Yeah.
Please send us suggestions if you have any of subjects you would like us to cover or any crazy stories.
You have.
And we should have the Patreon up here soon. So I'm not positive if I'm going to 100% commit to prank phone calls like I said in the last podcast. But if you really want to, like, it could be like a one-time offer.
You got to do one. You have to do one if somebody wants you to.
I also feel like you'd have to make sure, I don't know, if you answered, it could just be so uncomfortable because I fucking hate talking on the phone.
Plus, what if it was a really sweet older lady?
Oh, that'd be funny though. I mean, I guess, yeah. No, I guess I'd still do it. Fuck it. Okay. Yeah, I'm sold. I'll do it. I'll commit to it. Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, Elizabeth Helms.
Thanks for having me.
And we will close out with one of her bands, one of their songs. And we will let you know later which one that decides to be. It'll be great. Bye.
Bye.
Peace out.